Hey guys, 5 a.m. video. Today I'm going to talk about something that's actually quite powerful. And it's something that I think is fundamental for us as men, fundamental for us as individuals, but we're talking about guys here. Um, as men, we often think that once we get to a certain point in life um, and things aren't going well, one of the things we start to fall back on is we feel like we're burnt out. And we feel like we're burnt out because we're working too hard. We feel like we're burnt out because nothing is changing and nothing is happening no matter what we do. And I think what's happened, well, I know what's happened, is that we need a mission, we need a purpose, we need a reason for us to get up in the morning. We need a reason for us to want to do the work. We need a reason for us to make the changes that we want to make. We need purpose. And what's happened along the way is, for most of us, we've got comfortable. Um, so we stopped working on something that mattered. We're paying the bills. We're making things work. The job's pretty good. The business is okay. What we need is to understand that that's where things start to slip. That's where things start to go backwards. And then we start to feel alone. And then we feel like, we're isolated and no one gets us and we don't even get ourselves. But really what we really need is this mission. And that's why I like this as a transformation cause, because this is your next mission, right? Gentlemen, if you decide, to take this on, this is your mission, should you decide to take it. And it really is this. You need to become your mission. You need to decide that you want to make these changes that have been running around in your head. You're not happy, you're overweight, you're tired, you're broken. You look in the mirror, you don't like a fucking thing that's looking back at you. You don't like the way you think. You're caught in this process. So we need to transform that. We need to change that. So what you need to do is adopt that and it becomes your mission, right? And here's the thing is that once you have a mission, once you have a reason, right, then all of a sudden there's a reason to get up. There's a reason to fight. There's a reason to become dangerous again. There's a reason to become focused. And here's the truth. When a man loses his mission, he loses everything. Everything collapses. Purpose goes first. Discipline goes next, right? Confidence follows right after that. And then your body, your habits, your energy, and your spark, it all starts to fade. That's when the loneliness creeps in. But not because we're alone. Most men over 50 aren't actually alone. It's because we feel disconnected from our own identity. We're meant to be warriors. We're meant to be hunters and gatherers. We're meant to get up with an epic cause. Life used to be harder a long time ago, years ago, decades ago, eons ago, whatever you want to call it. You had to get up and work to eat, to survive, to thrive, to move forward, right? The world is harsh, much harsher than it is now, believe it or not. So we had no choice. We had to get up. We had to make sure the rent was paid. We had to get up. We had to make sure the bills were paid so the fucking heat didn't get turned off, right? We had to make sure there was firewood in the house so that we didn't freeze at night. We had purpose. We had things to do. But what's happened is because we've become disconnected, because our kids have grown up and their careers have leveled out and our relationships in the rut, and suddenly we're not the man that we used to be or the man we used to think we used to be. And then we also are not sure who we're supposed to become next. So that's when this darkness starts to get loud. That's when things start falling inside and things start coming inside on you and you start feeling oppressed, right? And this is where this isolation hits. You're not isolated outwardly, you're isolated inwardly, right? And that's where we start numbing ourselves. It just feels like shit, so I'm going to eat, I'm going to drink, I'm going to watch too much TV, I'm going to fucking, watch way too much porn. I just want to be stimulated because I don't like the way I'm feeling now, right? And then without a mission, without a purpose, that's where we start to drift. Right? But you give a man a mission. You watch all these epic hero movies, where, John Wick, a retired assassin, created a life with a woman he loved and stuff. And then she goes and dies because she gets an illness. And, he's struggling with that. And then in the gas station, some fucking Russian mobster steals his fucking car, right? And fucks with his dog. And that was it. He fucking snaps. And he reverts back to the fucking animal he used to be. He reverts back to the beast he used to be. He becomes dangerous again because he has a purpose. He has a mission. Now, don't go on a fucking shooting spree. That's not what I'm talking about. But what happens is something happens, triggers, that all of a sudden we step back into the game. We step back into the ring. So all of a sudden, right, it forces us to, do the things that we're supposed to do. So for us, you guys that I'm talking about, It's your transformation, your epic transformation. The silverback process, right, is that you become your project. You become the hero in your own fucking story. You become the hero in the movie. It's your movie. So all of a sudden, you buckle down. You've had enough, right? So you start to make the changes. You look for the solutions. You look for something to follow. Coaching, training program, silverback blueprint. It's all fucking phenomenal. It's all there for that very reason, right? And the reason why it exists is because along the way, I had to develop something to bring me back into the warrior state, the alpha state, the version I'm supposed to be, jacked, confident, powerful inside and out, where I've always wanted to be, but at the highest level now at 57, right? It's no accident. I just didn't fucking stumble into it. I just decided when I was almost 400 pounds, and I was recovering as an alcoholic, and I had a shit business, and I had a shit relationship with everything and stuff like that, everyone around me, I was the fucking problem, and I had to do something about it, right? And I hit that fucking bottom, the proverbial bottom, and I decided enough was enough, and I took action. So at the end of the day, right, we need to make ourselves the fucking mission. We need to make ourselves the transformation that's going to happen. We need to make ourselves the epic fucking story that we were going to be proud to show the world as we do, but proud of ourselves. Then we have a reason to get up. We have a reason to eat better. We have a reason to train better. It's one of the reasons why I'm always telling people to sign up for powerlifting. If they love powerlifting, if they like one of the lifts, sign up for a powerlifting meet, because all of a sudden now you have a mission. You have a purpose. Training automatically dials in. Consistency automatically dials in because we have a line on the sand. There's a date coming up, a finite line in the sand. Do the same thing with yourself. Create that line in the sand. Hey, in 90 days, I want to weigh 30 pounds less. I want to be down 2 pant sizes. I want to look in the mirror and see what I've changed. I want to have an epic before and after, picture, right? That kind of thing. Make it a decision. Bring back a mission. A mission will bring your confidence back. It'll bring your discipline back. It'll bring your identity back. And it puts steel in your spine again. It just gets you fucking fired up. And here's the beautiful part is that at the end of the day, men on a mission recognize each other. You walk into the gym, you know who's fucking working hard. Not just because they're working hard, because you could tell there's something, there's a shift, there's something behind their eyes, there's a feeling. You know that motherfucker is working on himself. You know that motherfucker is dealing with his demons, stepping into it, and you feel it and recognize it because you're doing the same fucking thing. Again, you know what? Most of us over 50, we're not starving for vacation. We're not looking for a quick fix. We're not even looking for a magic event. We want a mission that's going to wake us the fuck up, right? So here's the challenge. If you're feeling lost, if you're drifting, if you're bored, if you're numb, if you're lonely, even in a room full of people, stop looking for an escape. Look for a fucking purpose, build a mission, and commit to something that forces you to fucking rise. Become the second man. Because the second the man chooses a mission, he stops dying slowly and he starts living again with fire, clarity, and fucking pride. Choose your fucking mission. You are the mission. Let's fucking go.